Ethan Reed was the kind of man who seemed untouchable. At 38, he was one of the most successful CEOs in the city, known for his sharp decisions in boardrooms and his cold, businesslike demeanor. But behind the glass walls of his empire, his life was lonelier than anyone could imagine. His wife had passed away 5 years ago, leaving him with a little girl, Ava, who had just turned 8. To the world, Ethan was powerful and composed. To Ava, he was simply, Dad, loving, but always too busy, too tired, too guarded. The invitation that arrived on his desk one afternoon seemed harmless, a gala hosted by one of the most influential investors in the industry. Attendance wasn't optional, but there was a problem. The invitation specifically stated, bring a partner. For a man like Ethan, who had no time for dating and no interest in shallow relationships, the idea was suffocating. Yet, appearances mattered. If he showed up alone again, the whispers about him being cold and unapproachable would only grow louder. And so, in a moment of desperation, Ethan did something completely out of character. He hired an escort, not for anything scandalous, but simply to play the role of his girlfriend for one night. It was a business transaction, nothing more. Clean, professional, temporary. When Emma walked into his office the day before the party for a briefing, Ethan was taken aback. She wasn't flashy like he had expected. She wore a simple dress, her hair tied back neatly, her smile warm but nervous. There was something about her eyes, gentle yet strong, that made him pause. She extended her hand confidently and said, I know this is unusual, but don't worry. I'm good at blending in. Ethan nodded, keeping his face expressionless. This is just for one evening, he said. No complications. You just need to look the part. Emma smiled faintly. Understood. But life, as always, had other plans. The night of the gala arrived. Ethan, dressed immaculately in a tailored suit, escorted Emma into the dazzling ballroom filled with chandeliers and laughter. She played her role flawlessly, charming, graceful, effortlessly fitting into conversations. For the first time in years, Ethan felt the spotlight of judgment shift away from him. People whispered, but this time with admiration. Maybe Ethan Reed isn't so cold after all. Maybe he's finally letting someone in. But the most surprising part wasn't how the crowd responded. It was how Ethan responded. He found himself laughing at Emma's witty remarks, noticing the warmth in her presence, the way she made others feel seen. She wasn't just pretending, she was genuine. And Ethan, the man who built walls around his heart, felt a crack forming. When the party ended, he thanked her curtly, almost afraid to acknowledge what he had felt. That was effective, he muttered. Emma only smiled and left without pressing further. The next morning, Ethan expected life to return to its usual rhythm. But Ava had other plans. Daddy, she said, tugging at his sleeve, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Who was the nice lady from last night? Ethan froze. He hadn't realized Ava had seen them when Emma briefly dropped him off at home. She was just helping me at the party, he said vaguely. Ava frowned, clearly unsatisfied. I liked her. She smiled at me. She didn't look at me like I was just your daughter. She looked at me like me. Her words pierced deeper than Ethan expected. Ava had grown up surrounded by nannies who never lasted, women who treated her as a duty, not a joy. But one short smile from Emma had left an impression. Days later, fate intervened again. Ava's school had a parent-child charity fair, and Ethan, stuck in back-to-back meetings, realized he couldn't make it in time. Panicking, he called Emma. This isn't part of the deal, he admitted, but Ava, she needs someone there. Would you? To his shock, Emma didn't hesitate. I'll be there. At the fair, Emma knelt beside Ava, painting, laughing, playing games. When Ethan arrived late, he saw something that made his chest tighten, his daughter smiling brighter than she had in years. And beside her, Emma looked natural, like she belonged. Weeks turned into months. Ethan kept finding reasons to call Emma back, first for Ava, then for himself. What started as a transaction blurred into something real. Emma, who had once lived paycheck to paycheck, discovered a purpose in their lives. She wasn't there for money anymore. She was there because she cared. But not everyone approved. Rumors swirled in Ethan's circle. She's just after your fortune, colleagues warned. You'll ruin your reputation. Ethan struggled. Could he really risk his empire for a woman who had entered his life by chance? The breaking point came one stormy evening. Ethan returned home late to find Ava curled up on the couch, crying. Emma left. She sobbed. She said maybe it's better if she doesn't come back. Daddy, can't she stay forever? Ethan's heart shattered. He realized in that moment that Emma wasn't just a passing comfort. She was the missing piece, for him, for Ava, for the home that had felt empty for too long. He found Emma the next day, working at a small cafe. Why did you leave? He demanded, his voice rough with emotion. Emma looked down, tears welling. Because you deserve someone who fits your world. I don't belong there. I'm just... No, Ethan interrupted, his voice breaking. You belong here. With us. With me. With Ava. Don't you see? She doesn't just need a caretaker. She needs you. And so do I. Emma's tears spilled over as Ethan, the untouchable CEO, stood vulnerable before her. She whispered, "Are you sure?" "Yes," he said firmly. "Stay. Not as a hired role. Not as an act. Stay as family." And so, Emma did. Slowly, the rumors faded. Ethan stopped caring about whispers. What mattered was Ava's laughter filling the halls again, the warmth of Emma's presence beside him, and the realization that love often enters our lives in the most unexpected ways. Ethan had ordered a girlfriend for one night, but fate had given him something far greater, a partner, a mother for his child, and a second chance at happiness. And for Ava, the little girl who once felt forgotten in her father's busy world, she finally had her answer. Yes, the woman she adored could stay forever. One message: sometimes, the love we desperately need doesn't arrive in the way we planned. It comes as a surprise, healing old wounds, teaching us that family is not built by appearances or contracts, but by love, trust, and the courage to let someone in. Would you like me to also break this story into scripted narration beats, like scene-by-scene breakdown, so it's easier to adapt directly into a YouTube video flow?